two,
One.
one.
Yeah. All right, yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see what you got here. Yep.
Definitely gonna be a little bit rusty here. Definitely.
Blue, huh?
Yeah, I'm going for. Oh, the next one's orange. So, but that's if I can get it off the bed onto this. That's what I'm gonna try to do.
All right, fair enough. And try to float some, huh?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I'm not necessarily trying to keep what I make today.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna try to do a good job.
Right. Sure.
But if it fails, it fails.
Well, yeah, stuff happens. Fail is just another way to, say learn what not to do.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So it's a learning experience, not a failure.
It's been. I think the last time I threw was for ASMR.
So it's going to be just a little bit.
Just a little bit. For those of you that don't know me and that are tuning in, first of all, this is pre-recorded. I will go ahead and break that illusion because it's going to get broken at some point. It's just going to happen.
It is going to happen, and here's the thing, guys, and I'll speak a little bit on it. It was not just a solitary idea. It wasn't just one person that said maybe we should pre-record this. It really was from everybody because there are some characters that we plan to have in here that are sometimes maybe not as kid friendly as we would want. So we did need to have, at least for the first little bit, the option, if you will, to be safe about our videos, to pre-record them, and to be able to censor them if we needed to do so. So that's where everybody has stepped in and voiced their opinion. So my apologies, Mr. Peterson.
So lovingly voiced their opinions.
Yeah, he so lovingly voiced their opinions.
That we need to do it pre-recorded because we have to be able to control ourselves.
Yes, also true.
Sometimes when the clay comes flying off the wheel, you have to duck and cover it, and it just doesn't look good on live camera.
Yeah, and that can lead to frustrations for folks sometimes, and I get that because certain people do make this look kind of easy, and it's maybe not quite as easy as they make it look. I don't know. Sometimes
starting off with this ink is hard, right, Beth?
that is that is so true. That is so true. But can't convince them all.
Can't convince them all. So you do classes a lot.
I do classes quite a bit.
Have you ever had anyone blame you for everything going wrong? Like it's your fault?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Even though you're not even touching their clay?
Yes, 100%. 100%. It's more often when it gets to that point, it's my fault because I'm not instructing them properly, and they can't figure out what's going wrong. Now those are also usually the ones that are talking loud and saying, I don't understand. As I'm explaining to them, okay, well there's a multitude of things that are going wrong. We have to isolate one or two, maybe three, and then work on those, and then we'll go to the next ones. But in the meantime, we have to slow down and just work on the first few. We gotta get that done first, and they just don't hear it because, again, they recognize that they just watched somebody who made this look relatively easy, kind of knock this thing out in a couple minutes, and they don't understand why they can't do that too.
You mean they don't understand that you studied this in college and took years to like perfect at least what you were doing here?
Right? Right? It's the same thing as any real profession that you see people that are not just good, but like real pros, like there's a difference in a mechanic and then somebody that you take your car to, and as you pull up, they walk out to the parking lot and they put their hand on your hood, and they go, hey, you got a miss in cylinder 2. That's the kind of stuff that you have to shoot for, because that's when you know that, okay, that's a master at what he does. He really has it under control over him. You need what thing?
The thing that I don't know the names of the tools. Guys, I'm an apprentice here.
That's true.
I'm still learning.
That's true. I'm assuming you need the sculpting knife.
I need the sculpting knife.
Yes. Yes.
almost done with my warm-up mug here.
Good, yeah.
Almost done.
Good deal. Keep going. Warm-up mugs are good. Keep the blood flowing.
I can't do this. I don't know how you do it to not stop the wheel to get this bit off. But I can get it to come off in almost one bit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I use a lot of the force. Force is pretty common for me. Because otherwise I really don't know how to do this. Oh, almost.
All right, well, I have my warm-up mug basically done, so hopefully at this point we have a lot of people tuning in. We are setting this to a premiere so that people can make comments and enjoy everything kind of live, but not really. Live for you, not live for us.
True.
This is that's the #1 comedy pottery podcast.
Yeah, 100%.
You can either read that as #1 or first, because both titles apply. But this is Between Two Wheels.
Yes.
For those of you that have spent some time on the
Between
internet,
Two
you've
Wheels.
probably seen the interview series with Zach Galifianakis, Between Two Ferns.
This is nothing like that.
This is nothing like that. The
We
only
are
thing that is similar
not
is that we
copying
tried to
that.
make throwing sometimes as uncomfortable as possible, not for us personally, but we try to do different challenges. So we have plans to do one blindfolded, which Kipp has informed me he can 100% do just as well as anything else. So really the funness comes from seeing how well I can do it blindfolded.
We might have to have other guest artists.
Yeah, we have a whole bunch of plans to do some very special things. It's not just going to be we're going to sit down and talk every week. That being said, the different challenge for this week is Kipp has a whole bat of clay. If you want to hold that up, I'll hold mine up.
Oh yeah, right. Here we go. Right, I've already kind of got it going.
I have 4 of
Something like
these. These are 3 pounds, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he
I have 8 2-pound pieces for a dinnerware bowl series.
Yep.
And he has 4 3-pounds. I think you said you're going to do a 5-pounder at the end, yeah?
Yeah, my wheel just got unplugged.
Moving
Bring
chair.
it back. Let's get these wires fixed. So I'm gonna try to finish mine if I mess up, because I told him I could finish them really fast if I just purposely mess them all up.
Right, which is something that is,
It's a strategy, but
it
that's
is
not
a strategy. It is legal to the game we're playing.
fun. Yeah, well, I have sportsmanship.
But man, what a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Down the road, they're probably not going to consider him for any kind of announcer. I'm just saying.
Oh well, it's all right. I'll live with it.
Oh no, they'll consider you now. Because you're not just, making the bunt for everybody. Just.
It survived mostly.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right.
Survived the whole thing.
So now, I guess more officially starts the challenge, even though Kipp is almost 2 bowls in.
Right? Well,
I just needed to warm up, because
Right.
I also can't just start off with 3 pounds magically. I like to start kind of work my way up.
Like any normal human could
Yep.
do, right?
Yep.
All right, you stole that knife. Where did you put that sculpture knife?
Just trying to slow you down.
Indeed. Nobody gonna slow me down.
But watch out, we can't get copyright striked in our first podcast.
Oh yeah, dude, if we get copyright strike for that, I'm amazing. Because that was
Because you sound just like that.
just like...
That's really what they're trying to do, is they're trying to
Yeah.
give people compliments.
That's exactly what I was thinking, actually. When I first thought that, I thought, well, this is a weird way to compliment me by threatening to shut me completely down. Oh, but, I got used to it. And then realized they all are just
They're really just after the money.
really... I was going to say really love me, but yeah, you're right. You're right. And the thing is, it's really not, most of the time it's not going to the artist. Most of the time it is going to somebody sitting in an office. It had nothing to do with that song at all, ever, for any reason. Hey, how's it going over there?
It's going good. This is
yeah, that looks
not
good.
even. I've not even really touched it yet. I
Right.
should probably try to put it on better next time.
Yeah, I like it.
We're making progress.
Yeah, yeah. How you doing there?
So normally when I throw, I have the wheel of the chair backed against the wall.
Oh, right.
It's
yeah.
sliding out from under me now.
That's a good way to teach you to keep your feet down for sure.
I'm just gonna go on one knee.
Or that, yeah. That. Well, I mean, I got to say, I like the technique. I know somebody that does that very similarly.
Yeah, I learned it from you.
Yeah. Well, you know, that was a commercial.
Whatever clay gets too big, you gotta get on one knee so you can really put all of your weight behind it.
Oh yeah. We have the unique advantage of being very tall, therefore relatively heavy. There's some people that are just like I'm not gonna name names, but I've got a couple students. Love them.
Oh, man.
He works as a prison guard in a very not nice prison, and he's like right at 7 feet tall, and
Wow.
yeah, right under like 375 pounds, almost 400 pounds. And he's not a fat guy. It's not. He's just an enormous human being, and great guy. His wife, just wonderful people. And he was one of the few people that came in and said, you know, I really want to make those big pieces. And I said, well, it takes some time unless you can control it. And of course, he's so monstrously big that he was able to control this and actually had quite a bit of natural talent on top of it.
Gotta give it that Forrest Whitaker, I think.
Yeah, right. But he actually has quite a natural knack for this particular art form, believe it or not. You've got this great big monstrous prison guard who can sit down and make these really elegant forms. But they're both just really sweet people too. That's a great thing about this place, man, is you get to meet a lot of unique people because of this place.
Unique is a good way to put it.
Oh yeah. I'm working on a book.
Man, for all that laughing I did, we did our Throw Something with Kipp live stream yesterday. So this is filmed on Monday, we're releasing it on Thursday. For all the giggling I did to myself about Kipp being out of breath after doing like some centering or like a pull, man, I get winded too.
Yeah, so what's up now, huh? Let's talk now. Why don't you try to carry on a full conversation with me at the same time while you're over there heaving?
I messed it up. I got in that attempt I did worse than centering.
Whoops. Also, I did something a little bit backwards there. But we won't say anything. That's all right. How you doing over there? It's getting awful quiet. You
getting
having
quiet.
to focus?
Yeah.
Are you having to focus?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
What's going on? What?
I wasn't fully expecting it to go 3 pounds right off the bat in the first episode, but you brought me there.
Well, I mean, you know, we did. I could have. There is some small pieces.
No. We set the challenge. I'm going for the challenge.
Yeah. You. I guess I could step it up and get some 3-pounders. Definitely have to make some pigs. All right. So you're moving on to your. Yep. Right.
We're getting there.
I like it. Yep.
So did you watch this? There's for those of you that don't know, we've done some research into pottery shows to be able to claim the #1 pottery podcast. That's not just a random claim that we can't actually take. I found a show on HBO Max. Only on HBO Max.
Only on HBO Max.
It is the exact same thing as the Great British Baking Show, but for pottery.
Yeah, and it is also actually British, which turns out there's some really groundbreaking potters that, of course, had a long lineage through Great Britain. But it's a crazy cool looking show.
Yeah.
And it's the idea. It's kind of like the British Baking Show, except I don't know all the British baking shows. I know that the concept here is they're taking
It's like
pretty.
local.
They're taking local
Yeah,
potters.
local.
They're amateur potters, but they're pretty
Yeah.
good. However, the idea. I mean,
Yeah, they say that they practice at home, but that basically just looks like all they can do is sit at home and practice on the wheel.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not real sure because a couple of the small clips of interviews, one of them said I've only been working at it for a year. So I don't. I'm going to be real honest, and I please don't take this the wrong way. But it takes a little longer than a year usually to be a standout artisan in most things, including pottery. I mean, you can get a good idea if this person's got a natural talent towards something.
But they
really
were. I
it.
think it's not just throwing on the wheel. There is some hand building stuff. It looked like.
Yeah, and it looked like there's a lot of sculpture there too, actually, which is also great. You do need to, you know, every potter needs to have just a little bit of that, whether they want to or not. I'm not a big sculptor type person. We can do that, and I can definitely.
I've seen you do like touch-ups on pieces, and you can kind of replicate anything that we have, but like it's not really your go-to of like, yeah, I'm gonna sculpt something today.
Yeah, it's really not usually my go-to thing. I'm gonna turn that over to somebody else because I've never really just like for me a sculpture is either fully cartoon characterized or it's not. It's a perfectly
100% realistic.
It's 100% or it's not. It's 100% the other way. I do not like sculptures that lend towards, you know, interpretation or imagination or halfway between the worlds. I don't like that, and that's why I've never accelerated in sculpture. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, please don't, you know, interpret my bias as something that's just, oh, you hate sculptures? No, I don't. I just, it's not my world. So I stay away from it because I have trouble interpreting anything less than it's either there or it's not.
Yeah.
And that's just, again, I'm a trained scientist, so that's not anything offensive, it's just how I am. And that's why I went into science actually, is because that's what makes sense to me. It's like, you know, especially in this day and age, and we're not going to be political in these videos, but there isn't yet, right? There's a lot where how are you breathing over there, bud?
Sometimes when you throw, you're not supposed to hold your breath. But sometimes I do. It's easier for me to not focus on trying to breathe out only. That's what you're supposed to do, is to breathe out. But sometimes it's easier to just focus on, all right, I'm going to hold it for as long as I can and then breathe out.
Yeah, that's actually kind of true. It's actually kind of true. I agree.
So throwing's your favorite thing about pottery?
As far as construction method, yeah. I mean, every once in a while, there will come a point where I just want to go do some sort of sculptural or hand-built, you know, combo piece or something like that. And that's super, super fun occasionally for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not something I like to do a lot. Again,
These things right here.
Oh, get crazy with it. When I do that sculptural stuff, it's usually either for me or for a family member,
Right.
or somebody, you know, very close who's asked for it, because I don't. It's very rare that I'll do something like that at a show. I will occasionally take a couple pieces like that to a show, but people do respond to them fairly well. It's just
Now we're doing a whole new kind of show.
right. And the amount of time I generally invest in a hand-built piece is almost always disproportionate for me.
Right.
I am not a very a quick person on hand building, and I don't worry. That's the thing is, when I'm hand building, I'm not worried about being very, very quick, because again, I'm probably making it for someone that's a little bit closer, or myself. So it's not quite the same as being on the wheel and trying to chug through things. So if I do stuff like, okay, make a dinnerware set using this hand building technique, you know, it usually comes cost prohibitive, and that's one of the things that you really need to. Well, we actually focus on one of that a little bit in ceramic theory. Mm-hmm. You really need to know your demographic, your clientele, and you need to know what they're going to spend. and they're not going to spend that in certain areas.
He has 3 things left, and I'm on the first 3-pounder. Man.
We're just doing what we need to do here, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You also have something else that you're gonna do tonight, right? Like that's part of the race.
That's part of the race. Yeah, I'm gonna, you know, it's assuming you are still, you might come through here. You might just bust through like a prodigal moment and have like this crazy like spaz where you have 4 of them.
I think if I have a crazy spaz, this play is just gonna be ruined.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, but I mean, yeah. But it could be that you just bust out like 4 of them in 10 minutes. And then suddenly, bam, we're back on the right track and I can't catch up with you, you know? That being said, I was going to go make some of the,
we never said something I'm actually doing. I've just gone up for a cylinder at this point. What should I try and do?
well,
flower
I
pot,
mean,
that's what I'm doing.
It's
my go-to move, you know?
3 pounds is actually a pretty nice little serving bowl that you would serve something out of.
Oh,
you
so
know,
I could do the rim on it and everything
Yeah,
too.
you could serve a couple people out of that for something like, you know, you could serve the college story would go, corn bowl. You could serve corn out of that. And,
That's a story for another podcast.
It is. You could serve corn out of that, and you know, 3 pounds also makes a really nice little piggy. Well, not little piggy. It's actually what we would refer to as a medium-sized pig. For a piggy bank, that's a nice piggy bank. A small Rebecca-type pitcher.
A Rebecca picture?
It's a biblical reference, actually.
Ah.
So apparently there was a very particular type of pitcher she used. And it's a very slender neck vessel. There's a little bit of a wide body at the bottom. It's a very, very slender neck. It kind of comes up to it. There's a fluid at the top. Really don't know if that's accurate.
You know, I got a little clam. You know what I have to do tonight when I go home from here? I'm still in school, for everyone that doesn't know that. I'm a senior in college.
Yes.
In this
indeed.
class, for like discussions and stuff, he likes for it to be filmed on video. Which, I mean, I do all the editing and stuff for video, so you say, oh, that's perfect, that's right up my alley. But half the time when I'm starting to do schoolwork, I'm in my bed, like, with the lights off. I'm like half asleep most of the time. Like, I'm not ready to start recording a video.
Let's get risky on this story. Oh my goodness. With the lights off? What are we doing?
Working on school.
Oh, right. I was paying attention here. Sorry, something off listened.
Oof. All right, can I borrow? Do you do the rims before that? I don't need that yet. Do you do the rims before you do the bowmaster, or do you do that?
No, I mean, you can do both. It's preferable and probably better technique for you to finish your ribbing before you do the rim. And the reason why is if you rib afterwards, you will wind up with a very sharp corner at the top.
And that's no bueno.
Yeah, it's no bueno. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Pinterest is real for a reason, man. So it could be that somebody really likes that look. They want that sharp edge there. They're seeking
Yeah, but you
it
also
out.
find really weird stuff on Pinterest.
Yeah.
Specifically, like it's what everyone does whenever you go to throw and you go throw for a while. Because you look up on Pinterest, like, okay, I need ideas. Like, I need something to inspire me.
Yes. And I can't tell you, and please, let's just go ahead and put this on record. Let's be this on the first, I want to say this on the first video because I'm probably going to say it on 1,000 other videos. Stop looking at birdhouses made of pottery, please. I just stop.
Birdhouses?
Yes, please stop doing that on Pinterest. They are great. They look fun. They're beautiful. They are 100% too hot, and they're usually not shaped correctly.
Oh, right.
You will cook
been told
a
about this.
bird in there. Come on. We keep it under the shade. Okay, cool. Now you need to be able to bolt it to a
Talk about
giant
poached
lid.
eggs, am I right? Number one comedy pottery podcast ever.
It is. Yeah, right, number one, right there, between two. Look at the detail he put here. Look at the water in this bowl. Amazing. This man's amazing.
I do it all.
Absolutely. Well, not all, because we do have.
Yeah, I don't do the marketing.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's so many titles between the two of you now that I'm not real sure where
Oh my goodness!
we're
At
supposed
the
to be
very
with that.
final hour.
Oh, what happened? What came down?
I was moving it down slowly, and then that
good.
piece picked itself back up like magic.
Good.
As far as I know.
Yet that actually will happen. So I don't know what that's called, but it happens.
I've now got a lump in this bowl. Well,
Looks good
that's
though.
finished as best as I could,
I
given
like it.
that it happened.
I like it.
I was going strong. I was going strong, but I'm just gonna cut it and trash it. Move on to the next one.
I think it looks good, man.
Ah.
But then absolutely beautiful corn bowl. Beautiful corn bowl. I like where you were headed with it, and the corn, in particular.
Kobe.
Come. Oh, wow. One of my favorite things to see is somebody call themselves a master. Because, the thing is, if you're a master at something, you probably are never going to call yourself a master at it. Because that's already a given. It's already a given.
You know what's amazing to me? Like, professional athletes, they always see coaches about different things, and they're professionals. They've been doing it for like their whole lives.
Right. Yeah.
But you told me that people come in here to the studio and are like, I've thrown for 3 years. I don't want you to tell me what to do.
It's very true.
Like, I just want to do my own thing and that's
I
it.
want to do my own thing and not deal with anybody else.
Which is cool. Everyone you can kind of throw to just like calm down. It's peaceful and calming and relaxing. But if you're messing up, I kind of want to know what I'm doing wrong and try to get better.
Yeah, I would like that too. But
but no.
There are a lot of people that come in that really don't want that. They want their own unique time to do their own unique mess-ups, to do whatever. And even if they don't see it as like, hey, this could be an opportunity for you to learn something, they will, I don't know. Some people get very, very offended when we do basic critique work, and there's something to be said for basic critique, and it's like not. That was one of the. We had a really, really, really bad critique process, but
Oh, you're talking about in college?
yeah,
Yeah, that's like scarring you for life. He told me that like you set out all your stuff that you've done for a while on a table, and all the grad art students go in and critique it.
Oh yeah.
However they see it.
They get to critique you. Either your teacher gets to critique. Everybody in the class gets to critique you. It's open critique and open defense of your stuff now. It's of course stepped up even harder when it's just the grads themselves. But
Were the teachers really worse than the students? I feel like the students would be the worst.
No, depends on. I mean, our ceramics professor was not very good at critique, and the reason why is because he was not very effective at being. People don't understand, man. It's like that's what this critique was to enable you. It was to help teach you that you can detach emotion from a professional.
From anything, really.
You can detach emotion from anything, but if you're having a professional discussion about something that needs improvements to better yourself, it may very well hurt your feelings to hear you're not good enough at certain things and you need to improve that.
Oh, you're gonna throw it at your bowl.
Which means, it's disappointing to hear on most any artisan level. I was disappointed to hear that. It's not great, but there are persons that can tell you that and build you up at the same time. There are, of course, people that are just mean and want to tear you down because they see your success as an impending kind of doom for their limited capabilities.
We call those people toxic.
We call those people toxic. But we also call those people super jelly because they are. That's the thing, man. Is you will find that just because somebody's been doing something for a few years doesn't mean that they're better. As a matter of fact, it usually means that they've learned just enough to be dangerous, and then they went off on their own and tried to mess up a bunch of stuff. And quite often, it just takes. It's the quieter ones in the back of the room that have had the experience that you need to just be more focused on and worried about if you're concerned about some sort of interruption with experience. I've not ever really ran into a problem with that. I've not ever really ran into a problem where I've ever had anyone come into the studio and just be like, I'm gonna show you, and really actually do it. I've had
Like
people.
no one, like someone has showed you up before?
No,
Okay.
I've never had that happen. I've had a lot of people actually come in and say, I'm gonna show you, and they never it's kind of like when you really get right up on that magician and his wires. They never really pulled that trick off as best they thought that they could. I'm still waiting on a guy to make a scene.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he was dead serious. He was 100% serious. And there are other people that really do that. Like, it is a very common, you've seen it already, I think.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It is a very
I've been in a
common-
couple of classes.
Right, it is a very common thing for people in class to come in and think, I'm going to make a coffee mug my very first time I sit down. That is a very common misconception that people just do not understand. It is extraordinarily difficult to make a coffee mug from start to finish. How many coffee mugs have you made start to finish? Ever?
In my life?
Yes, ever.
5.
5, right?
And I think most of them I wasn't even happy with how they looked in the end.
Sure. And how long have you done this?
I guess 2 school semesters, and now 4 months.
Right. So roughly a year.
Roughly. Yeah,
Roughly.
I guess a little bit more than a year, but there is a 3-year gap in the middle.
Right. But at the same time, it's been roughly a year, and you are to the point of I can sort of make a mug, and I've made 5 total, and I don't like them. So that should tell people a lot. It usually doesn't. That should tell people a lot about
In their
patience.
first 2-hour session.
Right, they're not gonna make a bowl, or excuse me, a coffee mug. They're going to make a bowl. But
See,
that's just a normal thing to do.
I hear that kind of mindset a lot, but I also hear people come in and be like, do you ever have people come in and just be absolutely terrible? Just
No.
walk out because they can't stand it anymore?
You have heard that several times too. Yes, I think you actually, the lady actually said that word for word.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I don't know that I can say that I've had anybody actually just step out and just be terrible. We all have to begin somewhere, you know. And then the next question was like you've heard, well, have you ever heard to tell anybody this is just, you shouldn't do this?
Mhm.
And the answer to that is yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have. Only one. I've done it for a very, very long time. I've only had one. And, like, it's a very brief story. I don't need to go into it very detailed, but she was kind of a trophy wife. I hate to say it like that, but it really was that simple. She was very open and honest with her situation, and basically stated, my husband wanted me out of the house. And he had paid for a recurrence of like 5 or 6.
I think you said there was like
lessons.
6 or something.
Yeah, it was like 6 something, whatever it was. It was several lessons, and by the time we got towards the end of them, every single time she showed up, it was very legitimately like one of the, what was that Adam Sandler movie, like 50 First Dates?
50 First Dates.
Yeah. It was very much like that. It was very much like she had never met me, did not know what a will was, had no idea what we were talking about, every single time. And finally, after she had mentioned every single time also, she just doesn't think this is her bag, I realized it was because she was just making excuses to try to get out of it. She didn't really want to do it anyway. He had just pay for her to be away from here. Sad situation. It is what it is.
You need some really interesting people.
Oh man, that's why I'm making it. I'm probably hitting you. I'm definitely like about a quarter of the way through my book.
What?
Yeah, I'm totally writing a book.
Yeah, you told me that. I just didn't realize you were like, how many quarters?
I'm about a quarter of the way through the book. I've only got like, I don't know, 45, 50 pages.
It's not bad.
No, I wanted it to be, you know, a couple hundred pages worth of insight into the hopefully it'll be longer than this. I guess the longer I stay alive doing this, the more it gets.
Well, the bigger the book will be.
Yeah. Because I needed to have like some sort of epic poetry title.
Yeah?
Right, so I'm still not.
Like Between Two Wheels? Epic poetry?
Yeah, it's really like. Well, I mean, it's like even worse. It's like I had to come up with something super cheesy, but I still haven't settled on anything like truly like mind blowing.
We'll get there. We're open to suggestions.
Right, I am open to suggestions. So far, some parts of the book get a little bit weird, get a little bit.
Is it your like pottery for business kind of book, or is it like a book of your life?
It's kind of like a book about life because it's one of the titles. I just threw it out there. One of the titles.
All over my face.
Oh yeah, one of the titles was actually going to be The Potter's House: Secret to the Clay.
Ooh. But then you get a lot of people looking up books for Harry Potter.
You kind of probably would, but at the same time, man, I've got about. I mean, I was reading back over, and there was about 10 or 12 pages that, for some reason, I felt just like I needed to devote to this place, man. There's a lot of people that come here that are wonderfully religious persons, and it talks a lot in the Bible about the Potter's House and how it relates to a church, and I've been approached as like that many times, which I'm perfectly fine with. The thing is that I found that the longer I'm here, and it's a wonderful thing, and I'm never going to turn it down. But the longer I'm here, somehow the more people confide in me, and I'm perfectly okay with that, carrying that burden. And it's not a problem, because I want them to feel like this is a safe place, you know? That's never going to be something I complain about. It's just once I started putting all these things out on paper that people have, you know, mentioned or said out loud or brought here, that I'm never gonna like say, oh, this is who did this, or this is,
right,
you know,
right.
Never anything like that. But just to give exemplary situations where you kind of like it's a great life lesson to listen to read it back, because it's like, holy crap, this person is carrying this secret with them, and they don't want anyone to know about it, and they brought it here, and they for some reason left it here, and why was I given that? Number one. Number two, like what should I take from that? What should I be able to pass on to people from that?
Have a Ballmaster, please.
Ballmaster 5000. Or are you just wasting time listening to people and not learning anything? You know, you need to learn something. That's kind of what I think the premise of this whole thing is about. And the reason why we're doing this Between Two Wheels thing is because it's not just like you said, it's not just talking.
Not just talking.
We're not just talking, but we're gonna have some fun things to do. It's not just that either. I've got some genuinely amazing people that have already given their blessings to come on and sit and speak with us, that have done things that are just, you don't even, it's like you read about, you see these movies about, and they're the people that have lived through this kind of stuff. True silver-tongued authors of great prose and poetry versus other persons who've just lived amazing experiences. And those are worth talking about, you know, and,
Yeah.
and hearing from that point of view. It doesn't really matter what you believe as far as your religion. All are welcome on this. We're not going to single out any particular one versus another. I will say that I have invited someone on because I've always been very interested in questions that I think are normal human questions, which is what happens after we die. You know, what occurs? Are there bright lights? Do you go to this gate? What do you see? You know, this kind of thing, that kind of thing. So one of the people I've invited on, she's died 3 times, I think now. And
3 times?
3 times. She's still alive.
I don't know what I'm doing with these rooms, but this one is doing it too. I cannot get it to hook into itself, you know what I mean?
You got a little bit thin at the top.
Yeah? That's what it is?
Not too bad, but just a little bit. When you came down, be a little bit stronger as it comes under. Not too bad though. Not too bad.
Ah.
But it's interesting to sit and talk with her about things, you know, because
Yeah.
before that, it's always just like, oh, I've heard it because I saw a movie on it, and I saw this guy on TV who was like, oh, I died once and I was on the operating table, blah, 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 blah. But it's different when you have your friend. It's different when you have your friend who you've worked with for a long time, who you've known for a long time, and then who just vanishes, and you don't know what happened to her, and you wind up, you know, passing through the grapevine, she died.
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, what? Yeah, she died, but they brought her back and they cut her open and gave her a heart transplant. You know, and you're like, this, how does that even? What?
Whew.
It's great.
Oh yeah. We have big plans for the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Big plans, big plans. Ultimately,
I'm
I
gonna
think-
wind up wearing some robes that were made for me in Thailand
yeah.
by some monks.
I was gonna say, ultimately, I feel like that's one of the biggest problems as a society that we have, is regardless of what you believe, if you're educated, uneducated, rich, poor, whatever you are, everyone seemingly has the same inability to sit down and be able to have a conversation with people.
That is correct.
It's like, it is part of debating and arguing, but that you have to be able to understand the other side of the argument too in order to get the full picture, and that's really when you can take make your decision based on what you think.
Yeah.
If you're debating for fun, you just gotta pick a side, it doesn't really matter.
Sure.
But you can't say you can. It's not always the smartest to say I am one way or the other without fully looking at the whole picture and how everyone feels about it. And that's not even in your big picture stuff. It could be the small things too. Like, I never tried vegetables before. I know that I'm not one of those people, but I know there are people like that. But you can never really say I hate vegetables without ever trying them.
Rain hasn't tried vegetables.
Rain hasn't tried.
I think Rain just
What?
I think Rain just recently discovered corn. I swear to you, dude. I swear to you, she's not.
What did she think was growing? What did she think was growing out of the
she's
ground?
She's not being on. I think pretty much. I'm giving some secrets away here. But I'm pretty sure she's kind of a picky eater, right? As most of us are.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, as most of us are. But I think
Dude,
I think as far as
this was
picky,
the fun
it may have been picky. I'm digging on some mac and cheese and some chicken nuggets
Mac and cheese and sweet tea.
and sweet tea.
Died of the South.
And as Megan would say, what did you? There's sweet tea and what was that you?
Mac and cheese.
You can was it mac and cheese and sweet tea really?
Yeah.
And then she said I've survived on it for 20
Yeah.
for 28 or whatever it was.
How old well, Megan is?
Love her hard. Love her hard.
She just discovered so she
Dude,
doesn't
she
really
really
eat
does.
vegetables?
Rain really, and she's probably watching this now because we're premiering.
Rain.
Rain.
One week.
Rain.
You're gonna try some vegetables on camera, and then you can say if you like them or not.
I don't know if she really. I even offered to fix them with the roast, and then I kind of forgot after I fixed the roast. 'Cause I didn't want anybody to have to eat leftovers if we touched it. You know, but she was like, I'm not sure about whether or not I'm going to try the carrots. And I was like, why? She's like, well, because carrots are like this, you know, crunchy. I was like, I'm going to fix it with a roast. She's like, I don't get what, I don't know what you mean. I was like, look, they get cooked with the roast, so they taste delicious. They're fixed with all kinds of fatty goodness.
It's not just straight up vegetables from
that
the ground.
doesn't sound like it's good for you. I was like, it's not. I didn't say it was good for you. I just said it's good, not good for you.
Vegetables have to mean that they're good for you no matter what you put in them, right?
They definitely would not. They definitely would not be good for you, fine, because I definitely added a lot of delicious pork fatty goodness. Oh goodness! I'm getting myself excited for some culinary delight.
Food, man. Food is great.
Food is great.
So, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Steven Pierce. I'm an apprentice here. I do the video editing and some other things around the studio. I was also, head cinematographer at Brixey Studios.
Yes, head cinematography.
Don't get that wrong.
Brixey Studios. Please don't get that wrong. That is punishable by death.
I was born in New York. The food in New York is very different from the food in the South. I have also spent 3 years living in Costa Rica. The food in Costa Rica is very different than the food in the United States.
True.
Pizza is great everywhere. I'm just going to say it like that.
Pizza's great everywhere.
Pizza is great everywhere.
I would imagine that pizza, when in the middle of a place that you're very unfamiliar with and missing something, would probably be pretty great. Although, let's all be honest, because you have mentioned this before. Let's go back. This man spent some time in Costa Rica. What did you spend time in Costa Rica for?
It's technically...
Hold on. Before we get into this wonderful bout, I just wanted to point out, you're doing great.
And you're done. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so what did you wind up in Costa Rica for?
I just wanted to stop you for a second. Alright. Sorry for that big intermission. Kipp had to go grab 12 pounds of clay.
It's actually probably more like 15 or 16.
He does it. I didn't even bring this one up this time. He does it to himself.
Yeah,
he does it to himself.
It's true, but I really don't like that other base, and I think I want just a more slender base type structure here.
So, the reason why I was in Costa Rica.
Reason that you were in Costa Rica, sir, was?
So, I'll go for the whole story.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll do a little bit of talking here.
Right, all right.
So, my throwing quality might go down even though it's already not been great. Maybe just a little
See
bit.
what you got.
So, in high school, I didn't really try for anything, you know? Nothing academically really kind of grabbed my attention. I had a pottery class my junior year. I enjoyed throwing on the wheel, so I signed up for the advanced ceramics class because I knew that you could do more throwing, and I was like, I'm his senior year. I'm looking to take as many art classes as I can. So I was really excited about it. The teacher, Ashley Hobbs, she's a friend of the studio. I didn't actually get the chance to have her because she was out on maternity leave. So I had another art teacher for that semester. Her specialty was not in the wheel, her specialty was hand building, but she told me I can go ahead and throw whatever I wanted to on the wheel. I had full range. I even graded myself, technically. So I got a 99 in that class because I felt bad giving myself 100.
So you were modest.
Yeah.
Good. I wouldn't want you to get...
Right, I mean it would seem fake if I got 100 because that was how the rest of my grades were. Definitely not 100. So, didn't really have any interest, and I knew that I didn't want to go to college and get in a ton of student debt. Like, that was terrifying. My parents made me very aware, like, that scholarships and other things were going to be, you just messed up one of your dinner bowls with your knee there, pal.
Oh, that's too bad.
That mostly through scholarships and everything was going to be the way that if I wanted to go to the college of my choice and not Northeast State, I needed scholarships and other things. Definitely working a job. So I was like, well, I don't really want to go to college to do that because there's nothing I actually want to study. So my freshman year in high school, with my church, we took a trip down to Costa Rica. And one of the things that trip did was they brought other like missionaries in, just people working around the country, like not even missionaries, they were locals too. But to tell us about what they were doing. That was really cool. There was a program that one guy came in one night, and he told us about this gap year program that you could do right out of high school where you go to the Costa and you study things like the Bible in Spanish. On the weekends, this was the part that really got my attention, was on the weekends is when you can actually go out into the country and do some actual serving. So I was really on board for that, and I set my sights on that, didn't look back. Not necessarily from that trip. It did take a little bit of time to be like, yeah, I'm definitely not going to go to college. What am I going to do? That's what I'm going to do, because I remember hearing about that. So I went to Costa Rica. The first year was just that. It was mostly studying. I started learning Spanish really well, but on the weekends, I'd go to a place called Santa Rosa, which means Holy Rose in Spanish. There's a church there, Seeds of Life. That's Hannah and Esteban Mora. They are wonderful, amazing people. Throughout my year of going there on the weekends, it became apparent that in order for the church that was ready to grow, they needed some extra help. So they invited me to come back as an intern, in which the second year I lived with the host family. Oh man, I love my host family. That was so much fun living with a different family. I finally had a brother. I grew up with two older sisters and they're twins. They're like basically the same person. So in any decision, it was always 2-on-1. In any fight, it was always 2-on-1. I didn't really win because I was also smaller than them for most of that time. But man, when I got tall, things changed.
All of the tides have turned.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Yep. So it was amazing to finally have a brother and to go back and live in a host home and be like more not being like a student so much. It was like an actual year of like working and doing things in the community and doing other projects and just helping out like a really good cause in a church that was like amazing in their outreach and everything. In that, the next year, none of the other students from the first program that were willing to were able to come back, and the ones that really wanted to might not necessarily have been the best fit. So they let me come back again so that I can continue studying with the college that I'm at now, because I wasn't done yet. I still have some more classes to do. They let me come back and live by myself in the church for a few months because I had to come back because of COVID, and continue doing basically the same thing I was, but also taking more, I guess, slightly more leadership responsibilities with everything now that I had been spending more time there, which was absolutely amazing. I flung some clay by accident. Not at you this time.
Yeah.
So that is the long story of why and what I did in Costa Rica.
That is pretty awesome, man.
I mean, I didn't go to college, even though I'm in college. All my college has been online. And I know that there are some experiences that I may have missed out on, but I am forever grateful for the opportunities that I did have.
I think your experiences definitely could trump a traditional college life experience for those 3 years, and I think that there's nothing to be concerned about or worried that you've missed something, because that's definitely some awesome. Number one, awesome experiences. Number two, just a great way to follow, man, what you have a calling for. So
Oh yeah.
how's it going over there?
It's going good. This is my last in the race that I have already been swamped in, killed in, demolished. This is my last 3 pound before I have to go to my 5 pound piece, which is my challenge for the night.
Right.
That's my grand finale. Like he's showing off, but I have 5 pounds. He has 15.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to work out.
Gotta get this pole going.
Yeah, how's that going for you?
It's definitely different. I was not expecting to have to focus so much while throwing, which was dumb because I always have to focus while throwing. But my normal state for throwing, I kid you not, my normal state for throwing is I have headphones in.
Now that is
I have
true.
my phone playing The Office next to me so I can just listen to it.
Right.
And I'm just completely zoned out to whatever is going on.
Also true. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. If if you were, say, to not be here, we are not on camera, I too would have a very similar. I would not be playing The Office. I would definitely be playing some sort of weird, What do you call that? Did you call that EDM? I mean, I finally let you hear some of the music I was thinking. It's not EDM really, but I guess it's close.
It's the more electronic.
Yeah, it's electronic, I guess.
I kind of understand it. Raina, my girlfriend Raina.
Right.
She's like the same way in that, like, if there's a song playing with words, she has to be able to hear it. She can't really focus on anything else. Is that the same how it is for you?
Sort of, yeah. And it's the thing is like that's why I'll intentionally play songs with no words.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to hear somebody telling me something. And yeah, I'll try to focus a little bit too hard on listening to that person talk or sing about something instead of really what I should be focused on.
Something you said before I want to ask you about again.
Right.
This is your studio in Kingsport.
Yes, sir.
What has been your absolute favorite memory of specifically this studio?
My favorite memory is, of course, having my family here. Starting a family in the studio has always been something I'll never forget that. But as far as like studio work itself, as far as people in the studio, Mr. Tam, Mr. Tam Bridges.
Tam Bridges.
Mr. Talmadge Bridges was just a wonderful person.
Who was that? Who was he?
He was in here for a little while.
Is that the guy that did the super hyper realistic faces?
No, that's Mr. Scott.
Okay.
Mr. Tam, he did more of a caricature type faces with me. And his wife did stained glass in here, Miss Karen. Miss Karen is still with us. Mr. Tam is no longer with us. He passed, but he was just a shining light to have around, and it was great to have him during the time we had him. So that's probably one of my favorite memories about this place is that he was in this place. So how you doing over there, man? I like your cylinder.
Thank you.
It's a good looking cylinder, man.
Thank you.
Your thumb.
It's really, really good looking cylinder over there.
Your thumbs are disconnected over there.
Yeah, again, this is the hardest thing I have is whenever I'm coming up, like I can
Touch
get
your
it
thumb.
connected after.
Touch your thumb. No. Go ahead and reach over and touch your thumb too. No, just reach and touch your knuckle like that. Yeah, do it. Yeah. There you go.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Much better. It's just some way. Just some way. That'll help you out. Just some way. Or make sure that you've got a. Actually, that just ran into my head. Or make sure that you've got a your elbow on your left hand.
It goes straight up.
Going straight up and down.
Yep, now we're both focused on our pulls. Okay. Do you feel a lot of difference whenever you're throwing with like a really heavy weight like that compared to just like a coffee mug?
What do you mean by a lot of difference? You feel like?
Like in your overall like technique and approach to it.
There's a significant change.
Yeah? Yeah. What kind of like technique difference do you have whenever like the weight really starts to ramp up like that?
Body pressures. Body pressures that's the most significant change, I guess I should say. It's just change of your body posture, which will give you a difference in your body pressure, and you can make some significant changes to your vessels just by altering how you move your body. And that can be significant, especially on bigger pieces when you really need to be able to Make these small differences count. And I've got a little bit of a wee bit of a run right down my pants.
Kobe.
Oh God.
I'll just give you a little splash.
Oh, right in the eyes.
Whoops.
I guess now's the time to prove I can do it blindfolded. Huh?
Yep, now's the time. Put your money where your mouth is. Ugh. Well, I mean, even the challenge of just doing 1/3 of what you're doing is really hard for me.
And I'm blinded.
Yeah, and you're blinded. Really, what the challenges are going to come down to is how hard can we make it for Kipp and just have me do the very basics.
I think that's probably what's going to come down to several of these. We're going to just come up with completely stupid crap for Kipp to do. Yeah, I'm down with most of it. I'm not going to do any eating ones though, because
Not any eating challenges?
I'm not cool with eating hot stuff. I mean, I like hot
With
stuff.
eating hot stuff?
No.
Like hot as in spicy or hot as in like temperature hot?
Hot isn't spicy. I mean, I like spicy food. I don't like to sit and eat peppers to burn myself.
I guess we won't do that then.
For like food challenges and stuff. I
Right,
don't,
right,
I don't
right.
like that.
No spicy
I've seen,
foods.
No, I've seen people do that where they're just like, they'll eat, you know, here's a 1,000,000 Scoville unit pepper and we're gonna eat it. It's called the Death Scorpion Rattleback.
Yeah, yep, that's exactly how they sound too.
And, yeah, I'm hoping that this doesn't cause too much trouble. Here we go. No,
We got some splatter on the board.
Yeah.
On our poster.
Oh, well, that just gives it character.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they all start out the same, too. It's like, oh, it's not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah. That's exactly what like peppers are supposed to do though, is you don't feel the actual extreme heat that they have the second you bite into it.
Yeah.
Because everyone goes, okay, a little bit and I just feel the juices, or I'm gonna eat the whole thing, and you get the seeds in there too, and they go, oh yeah, this isn't bad. Cut to like 2 minutes later, if that, and they're like,
They are dying.
they are ready to throw up in the middle of the street because your body cannot handle that.
Right. Your body
You
will
cannot go. You
easily
cannot
try
go
to
from eating
vomit.
pals every single day, which is very. It's tasty, but it's not spicy.
It is tasty, but it is not spicy.
It's not spicy. You can't go from
It
doing
does not
that
have a
every
high
single
amount of
day.
capsaicin.
You can't do sweet tea every single day
No.
to then go into 1,000,000 Scovilles and think that your body's gonna take it okay because you're a champ.
Right. You are a champ, but it's not going to take it okay. Speaking of which,
I just ran my recipe up by accident. Did not want to do that.
just a little secret that a lot of people don't think of. Let's use some basic chemistry here when we're dealing with hot stuff in your mouth. Capsaicin is a very tricky chemical, so when it comes to spreading around in your mouth, we try to cancel it out with stuff like bread and milk. One of the best ways to cancel that stuff out is just get some raw sugar and put that.
Wait, it's not milk?
One of the best ways is raw sugar.
Raw sugar.
Raw sugar. Get some raw sugar, and with that set in your mouth, it will bind with the capsaicin, or what's left in there, if you haven't already managed to chase most of the way. With your incessant milk drinking,
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. It does make it feel a little bit better, at least it feels that way.
So you've also never done like the Buffalo Wild Wings like challenge of eating their spiciest wings, like in
I
an
don't,
hour
but
or
here's the
something
thing,
like that?
I also don't eat chicken.
Really?
I do not. I
Is there a
used
reason
to.
for that?
I had an allergic reaction to something in a dish with chicken. And it actually was in 4 different dishes.
Like you had the same allergic
Same
reaction
allergic
to
reaction.
4 different dishes.
To
and they
4
all had
different
chicken?
dishes, and they all had chicken, so it was just naturally assumed that there's probably something in the chicken, but there's no way to test for that without getting into some really expensive territories.
Right.
You can't just be like, well, what goes in this chicken? Well, there's certain antibiotics that go in chicken. There's certain, I'm sure at the time, hormones are going. Oh, we were eating cheap chicken from Chinese buffets. Not that that's cheap chicken, but let's be honest with ourselves.
I made an artisanal pitcher.
You did indeed.
An artisanal pitcher.
Artisanal pitcher. Let's make this into a sort of a pitcher here, except we're going to be more like a vase structure.
You know, thinking of the artisanal pitcher, one of my favorite things about this studio is that we really go for like the more functional pieces, as opposed to like yes, it's a pitcher that you have to stick your arm all the way down into to grab the handle.
Right.
As much as pottery is an art form, it is like one of the very few things that like, I made this plate, I painted this entire like the Last Supper on this dinner plate. And not only that, but you can eat off of it and it's gonna be the exact same when you're done.
True. It's a nice meal.
Because there's so, like paintings and stuff, they're really good to look at, but you can't eat off a painting and expect it to be the same when you're done.
Very true.
Or for your food to taste good.
Also very true. It might taste really good because you will be tripping. Well, I like your cylinder.
My one cylinder, my one mug, ladies and gentlemen, is all I came out with. I told you, I wasn't expected to keep anything. I was just gonna go to do it to see if I could beat him in the challenge, and boy did I fail at. Boy did I fail
I think
at.
you did good, man. I think you did good.
Is this is more what you were going through with the vase that you were doing on the Throw Something stream from Sunday?
Yeah, I just wanted a little taller version of it. I didn't, a little more slender version. It has a little bit more of a shoulder and a hip.
Yeah.
And it's ribbed pretty strong, and it's as heavy as lead, I'm afraid, because I could really use a little bit extra stretching down here, but I honestly don't want to get too crazy.
One day, one stream, you'll be able to look back on the very first one and say, wow, he just did one mug. Eventually you'll look and say, wow, he did 10 vases in one stream.
10 vases. See, you'll be known for your vase work.
Or jugs. So that's what I really want to do. I want to do face jugs.
I think that,
even though that takes a little bit of sculpting, which is not my expertise, I think that's the one thing I really want to do.
I think it'd be great to get you back into
To
to have
jugs.
an apprentice that would go back into face juggery. That is a very traditional Southern Appalachian craft.
That's like the sub like brand of the studios, that it's Appalachian pottery. Like on top of the actual like practical stuff and making like special ordered plate sets and everything like that, like it is, we're in the Appalachian area. We make everything here from start to finish. The clay is from the area, even though it's not like your backyard kind of clay.
It is formulated here.
It is formulated here. And Kipp studied Appalachian Studies in college to be able to actually understand like what are the traditional pieces and what makes them special about the area.
Indeed, that is very true.
I'm writing a special message for the viewers.
Help me. Dun-dun-dun. I feel like I need to.
Am I just not good at this, Kipp?
I think you're actually quite talented, sir. Quite talented.
I don't think this bat's actually back on.
I think you are right in the fact that it is wrong. Well, my friend, I appreciate the fact that you laid out such a diligent challenge this evening.
Yeah. I just want to make you feel good about yourself.
Yeah, and I like that. I appreciate that too. I I did mess up and destroy a bowl.
Therefore, I won.
Therefore,
Ladies and gentlemen, therefore I won.
I think technically you probably could say
Since you didn't complete your set because one isn't done.
Yeah.
But I also actually didn't complete a single one of my serving bowls because the rims, I never got any of the rims down. And then the third one, that was more or less just giving up because I wasn't happy with trying to get it to do the shaping of the bowl. It wasn't really doing what I wanted it to, so I was like, I've already lost the challenge by a long shot, so.
Oh man. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.